fitter, happier, more productive, comfortable. Ooh, this was the opening words of another work, my apologies. The video about to start contains a great many details and subtexts. This video was not prepared to please music lover internet users or musicians but in the name of music only. Audiences who define music as detail or those who do not like subtexts are kindly asked to leave the channel. To leave the channel. To leave the channel. To leave the channel. Thank you.
I wanted to understand how the universe began.
I wasn't ready for the...
There's broadcast signal coda intrusion. Close encounters of the pirate grooves. Sea songs and shanties kind. A pirate arterial station is a broadcast stunt flying that operates without a Laissez-faire spectacle license.
What is a coda?
The Society of the Spectacle Purpose. A piece of music at the end of a longer piece of music, usually separate from the basic structure. The coda is often more technically difficult than the rest of the piece.
It all starts with the seed of love. The love of music. The love of history. For me it was the love of science. At St. Albans School.
Dikran Tahta was a British-Armenian mathematician, teacher and author. He was also the math teacher of Stephen Hawking. Dikran Tahta was a descendant of an Armenian family of cotton merchants based in Istanbul. His father Kevork Tahta Brownian settled in Manchester with his wife in 1927. After the First World War to run a branch of the business which took the name Manchester Textile Exporters. His father also shortened his surname to Tahta.
There was an inspirational maths teacher, Mr. Tahta. He opened my eyes to the blueprint of the universe itself. Mathematics. I wasn't the best student at all. My handwriting was bad, and I could be lazy.
I have lived with the prospect of an early death for the last 49 years. I'm not afraid of death, but I'm in no hurry to die. Much of his childhood, and the influence of his Armenian religious upbringing, is reflected upon in his penultimate book Errorate Associations, in which he notes how his parents were keen for their children to have an English education, yet made sure that they spoke Armenian at home. He was christened by Bishop Turian in the Armenian church in Manchester, and his first name Dikran was shortened to Dick, but he never forgot his Armenian roots. In his childhood, he would visit relatives in Istanbul every other year.
Many teachers were boring. Not Mr. Tahta. his classes were lively and exciting. Everything could be debated. Together we built my first computer. It was made with electromechanical switches. Thanks to Mr. Tahta, I became a professor of mathematics at Cambridge, in a position once held by Isaac Newton.
Ben from the Dillinger Escape Plan.
This is Dikembe Mutombo from the Dillinger Escape Plan.
And we are the Dillinger Escape Plan. From the Dillinger Escape Plan.
Hi, I'm Liam.
I'm
the
Greg.
Dillinger Escape Plan.
Dillinger Escape Plan.
I have so much I want to do first.
Cause you all know.
It represents a four-dimensional cube or tesseract undergoing a rotation along both the X, Y, and ZW planes simultaneously. This completely boggled my mind and I just had to simulate it. First of all, let me point out that the visualization is not four-dimensional. Rather, it is a representation of four dimensions in three dimensions, and it is then rendered on a two-dimensional screen. What does this mean? Well, let's take a cube. It's a perfectly fine 3D object. I mean, it's no four-dimensional cube or anything, but it'll do for now. We can represent this cube as a series of planes or cross-sections cut along the X, Y, or Z axes. Obviously, the 2D planes are not actually 3D cubes. Rather, they are representations of 3D objects in a 2D space.
The increase of disorder, or entropy, is what distinguishes the past from the future, giving a direction to time.
Some of these are reflected on in his book Error at Associations, in which he remembers my father, who would be standing, like the other males, with open arms extended in their own way of praying. Kneeling was for women and children. From Rossall School, in Fleetwood, Lancashire, he gained a scholarship to Christ Church, Oxford, in 1946. His main subject was mathematics, but he also read widely in English literature, philosophy and history. Between leaving university and just before national service, Tahta took time out to catalogue the library of the late Archbishop Matthias Njayan and read a number of his books for the first time.
In discussing the large-scale structure of the cosmos, astronomers sometimes say that space is curved, or that the universe is finite but unbounded. Whatever are they talking about? Let's imagine that we are perfectly flat. I mean absolutely flat. And that we live appropriately enough, in a flatland. A land designed and named by Edwin Abbott, a Shakespearean scholar who lived in Victorian England. Everybody in flatland is, of course, exceptionally flat. We have squares, circles, triangles, and we all scurry about, and we can go into our houses and do our flat business. Now, we have width and length, but no height at all. Now, these little cutouts have some little height, but let's ignore that. Let's imagine that these are absolutely flat.
I had spent my life attempting to unlock the mysteries of the universe. When each of us thinks about what we can do in life, chances are we can do it because of the teacher.
Dikran Tahta did national service in the RAF from 1950 to 1952, then after a brief foray into journalism, returned to Russell School in 1954, where he began teaching English and history, but gradually moved into mathematics teaching. In 1955, he moved to teach mathematics at St Albans School, Hertfordshire, where the young Stephen Hawking was a pupil. When asked later to name a teacher who had inspired him, Hawking named Mr. Tahta.
Behind every exceptional person, there is an exceptional teacher. Today, we need great teachers more than ever. We must always remember, teachers matter.
Interstellar communication is the transmission of signals between planetary systems. Sending interstellar messages is potentially much easier than interstellar travel, being possible with technologies and equipment which are currently available. However, the distances from Earth to other potentially inhabited systems introduce prohibitive delays, assuming the limitations of the speed of light. Even an immediate reply to radio communications sent to stars tens of thousands of light years away would take many human generations to arrive. Tahta remained at St Albans for 6 years before taking up the post of lecturer in mathematics education at St Luke's College, Exeter, in 1961. By 1974, he was a mathematics tutor at the University of Exeter's School of Education at Thornlea, on the New North Road. In 1978, the School of Education merged with St Luke's College to form the university's Department of Education. He remained there until his retirement in late 1981.
Einstein never accepted quantum mechanics because of its element of chance and uncertainty. He said, God does not play dice. It seems that Einstein was doubly wrong. The quantum effects of black holes suggest that not only does God play dice, he sometimes throws them where they cannot be seen.
The tesseract is an enormous, hypercubic, grid-like structure and a means of communication for the bulk beings to express action through gravity with NASA. The bulk beings can perceive 5 dimensions as opposed to 4, able to see every moment in the past, present, and future. The bulk beings can influence gravity within any of those time frames.
Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Did the universe have a beginning, and if so, what happened before then? Where did the universe come from, and where is it going?
In the 1970s he was involved in the ATV television program of mathematics for schools entitled Leapfrogs and promoted visual approaches to mathematics. His paper on geometry argued that geometrical approaches to mathematics could not be reduced to algebraic approaches. In line with this thinking, he produced the ATM book Geometric Images, and co-authored Images of Infinity with Ray Hemmings. The Leapfrogs group of Tahta and Hemmings, together with David Sturgis, Leo Rogers and Derek Last, also produced hands-on teaching materials including workbooks for the Polycube. He also drew upon insights into pedagogy in the writings of Mary Boyle on mathematics education.
Even if there is only one possible unified theory, it is just a set of rules and equations. What is it that breathes fire into the equations and makes a universe for them to describe? Why does the universe go to all the bother of existing? If we find the answer to that, it would be the ultimate triumph of human reason.
After retirement, he went to teach in the United States and South Africa, and became a tutor for the Open University. His last book was The 15 Schoolgirls about Thomas Kirkman, known for the Kirkman's schoolgirl problem, a problem in combinatorics, which also delved into the byways of Victorian amateur mathematics. A causal loop is a theoretical proposition in which, by means of either retrocausality or time travel, a sequence of events, actions, information, objects, people, is among the causes of another event, which is in turn among the causes of the first mentioned event. Such causally looped events then exist in spacetime, but their origin cannot be determined. A hypothetical example of a causality loop is given of a billiard ball striking its past self. The billiard ball moves in a path towards a time machine, and the future self of the billiard ball emerges from the time machine before its past self enters it, giving its past self a glancing blow, altering the past ball's path and causing it to enter the time machine at an angle that would cause its future self to strike its past self the very glancing blow that altered its path. In his obituary, The Guardian newspaper described Dikran Tahta as one of the outstanding mathematics teachers of his generation, who was notable for having inspired physicist Stephen Hawking. The Guardian commented on his death that he was a wise and generous man who inspired love and an increase of intellectual energy in everyone who came within his ambit. Hawking later commented that thanks to Mr. Tahta, I became a professor of mathematics at Cambridge, a position once held by Isaac Newton.
It was wonderful to float weightless, free of my wheelchair. I could have gone on, and on, and on.